Hello everyone, welcome to the first Community Ideas stream. Uh, this is going to be a series of live streams where I'm going to go over all your questions from Discord, or your ideas and suggestions from Discord, and try and give them the best answer I can, whether that's going to happen, it's unlikely to happen, and give some context around it on my reasoning. I have a lot of plans for the game, and the game has a lot of scope, and it's got a lot of ways it could go and change. And I'm always listening because people sometimes have these great ideas and it changes what I was planning. But we might as well get started now. Okay, so how this is going to work, I'm going to open up all the chats on the threads on Discord, and we can look at them and I'll talk about them. I'm going to go quite quickly though, because we've got so many to get through. And if there isn't much to talk about, I'm just going to rate it and move on. Okay, so I'm just going to turn this graphic on. If I go like this, and I click, you have to click transition. Okay, so you should be able to see that now. And this is the first one. So this first one, I'm going just in chronological order, just to be fair. This one is by Echoes, and he's asking that we have a highlight when you focus on a block, just like in Minecraft. It shows you which block you're currently looking at. That's actually what I'm working on right now, and it's going to be in the next devlog. So that one can go into the planned category. Hopefully that updates correctly. And then next one. Puzzles. So Will was asking, something I'd like to see, and something I think would make the game stand out is some sort of focus on puzzles. Since you've experienced from your previous games and previous audience interested in puzzles, and the kind of nerds that like hexagons are probably interested in puzzles too. Maybe some dungeons which instead of or in addition to fighting mobs, you have complete Minesweeper or hex puzzles to open them up and get loot. I'll just finish there because I'm only going to read a little bit. So that is going to go into the planned category. Maybe not exactly how Will's imagining it, but we are going to have dungeons, and I probably will have some form of puzzles in them. I'm not entirely sure how that looks yet, but I do want to have that little element of kind of like Zelda dungeons where there's a little bit of a puzzle to them. Next one. This one is by L Party Rock 617. Oh, I can take this off the top and that might just make it a little nicer. One of the issues with the games, he says, main star system with guaranteed dungeon structures and biomes. One of the issues with games like Minecraft is infinite procedural world generation and the fact that the distribution of biomes and unique structures are random. Naturally, this comes at the cost of spending hours and hours looking for that biome that you like, the spawner you need to do an EXP farm, or searching that goddamn nether fortress to get the resources you need to progress in the game. So the way that it's going to work in Planet Smith is the world that you start on to begin with is always going to be an Earth-like planet. And because it's a planet, the biomes are going to make sense. So there is going to be the ice caps at the top. There's going to be the deserty biomes to the center and everything else in between. So that means if you're looking for a specific biome, you just need to follow the sun and work out which way to go to the equator or which way to go to the poles. The other thing that the game's also using is the closer you are to the coast, the more likely that the biomes are wet. So that can give you a kind of idea of where to go searching for these biomes. Now, when it comes to these pre-generated structures, because also we're on a finite world as well, there's going to be a set number that have to be spawned into the planet. But say we've got, I don't know, let's call it the ice dungeon. First off, it's going to be in a cold region, and then there's going to be one on the planet and one to find exactly. And once you clear that dungeon, you may be needing the earth dungeon. That one spawns somewhere else. I'm not saying we're having ice and earth dungeons. It's just an example. Okay, but that is planned. Next one is by Robob, Red Dwarf Star System Concept. This is a concept of a red dwarf star system. It's the most basic star system, and it barely has any structures, but that doesn't matter. The main idea is the organization system. I'm just going to quickly over this one. Yeah, we're going to have different types of stars and star systems, but that is going to future plans. That's a long way off because we're going to focus on this main Earth-like planet to start with before we start going, even expanding our solar system before going to other solar systems. Next one is Sammy JPEG. Customizable starting planet. Allow players to customize the starting planet size, orbit, orbital parent, amount of moons, etc. Somewhat. So I'm going to put that in. Yeah, that can go into planned. It's maybe not exactly how you're. We will have customization of the starting planet size, orbit and orbital parent, amount of moons. That might not be customizable, at least to begin with, but that could become something that was like in a World Maker, which we may do distant future for World Maker though. Next one, optional story arc, and this one is by. I think I've got the. Is this by Electra? Or Electrica? Electrica? Maybe while you are planet hopping, you can find out through different runes you're the only person left. And if you piece together the clues together, you can travel back to the time to prevent the disaster. Well, there is going to be an... That isn't the story. I have a plan for the story. And it is going to be... It's not going to be forced on you, the story, but you'll be able to work it out. So if you're the kind of person that likes digging into lore, you should be able to work out what's going on. But if you're the kind of person that doesn't care and just wants to progress, then that'll be fine too. And you'll be able to progress through all the things you need to do without worrying about the actual story. Next one. This one also is by Electrica. This is Random Event Worlds. When you travel to another planet, there is a very low chance that you come across a rogue comic or rogue planet / dark world. I'll put this one... do I put this in maybe or do I put this in planned? It's sort of, so we will do these kind of things like rogue comics, rogue planets. That's distant. Actually, let's just put this distant future. It won't be like you'll come across them. You'll be flying through space and you'll be able to see them. It won't be like, oh, cutscene and then you see the planet. It'll be much more planned. I just realized I closed chat and I can't see what people are saying here. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of what's going to happen with that one. Next one. Oh wait, that one's a repost, so we're not going into that one. This one is by how do you say this one? Lingatham. I apologize if I'm butchering names here. Lingatham, and then he's Minecraft Bedrock. He's been on a long time. There should be a new generation of worlds. There should be an option of what kind of world you want, amplified biomes, super large biomes, or choices of what blocks will be made of. Yes. Cheese block. Self-explanatory. Maybe. I'm not sure what extra blocks are going in. There might be a cheese block. If not, modders can do that. Ice boats or other racing mechanic. One of my favorite things in Minecraft is a quite underappreciated or maybe not intentional mechanic of how boats and ice go extremely fast, and it allows for building racehorses and so on. A similar mechanic in this game could be fun. I think any kind of racing mechanic is cool, just something to think of about at least when adding ice boats, and that's by a disaster area. I'm not going to commit hard to that, maybe. I have to see what mechanics come in. It's not something I'm focused on. The next one is this is by ULI16212. The B dimension. B boss. Before starting, I'm not good at speaking English. Okay, so they're probably Spanish. I think the idea for A dimension and a boss could be a dimension of bees and wax according to the hexagonal game. The dimension could be bee as a beehive. So default game, no, I have different plans for the story, but that one can go to modders. If someone wants to make a bee version of the game, that'll be fine. Flora and Fauna by Giwillow. Okay. There's a lot of conversations going on in this one. So the bee thing got me thinking, obviously, just reading the bee one. Oh wait, this isn't by Giwillow. Wait, this is by Optimus 1. Earth Planet Pre... I missed one, did I? We might come back to the Giwillow's other one later. But this is by Optimus 1. What would the life of the planet look like? Are we wanting a traditional Earth-looking similar to Minecraft or some weird ecosystems organisms we've not imagined yet? I don't have any suggestions right now, but I'd love to get the ball rolling. And then there's a lot of chat in this one, so if you want to read more about this one, I'm not going to go into it. But loads of suggestions in here. We can say that one's happening, even though it doesn't say too much. But the idea is the starting world will be Earth-like flora and fauna. Maybe some weird stuff, a bit more fantasy. And then once you go off to the alien worlds, it'll be weirder and wacky stuff. And all the alien worlds won't be realistic. They won't be barren rocks. They're going to be all full of life because that's a lot more interesting. Think of them more like dimensions in Minecraft. Next one is by Tolozen. Ores and minerals. I think it'd be a good idea to have ores similar to Minecraft, but in a way that's distinct at the same time. I don't want it to be too similar to Minecraft and feel like a clone. Different planets could have entirely different ores to encourage space travel or different ratios of ores. Could have things about iron, gold, tin, tungsten, osmium, etc. Yeah, just to name some possibilities. So yes, we're going to have lots of different ores and metals, and once you're getting into the alien worlds, there'll probably be some made up ones as well, just to give it like more advanced progression, and that'll be fun. Biomes audio. So this is by Lingathium again. And yes, I'm just going to say this is happening. We're already building the audio. There is going to be different audio for the biomes, and that's all in the plans and is currently being made. It's also asked for... He's also asked for controlled field of view, so you can set it. Yes, that is definitely happening. Okay, those were quick ones. Here we go. Flight system. How do you plan to make the movement system? Realistic or rather like that of No Man's Sky? So the flight system. So the flight system is probably going to be similar, or I plan for it to be similar eventually. Let's put it in the future, because to start with, I'm just focused on the actual gameplay and of the actual planets. So you'll spawn on your world, and I want that to be really fun. And then it's likely at the first early access version, once you build a rocket and are ready to go to the next world, that'll be kind of where the game ends. And then I plan to start adding in the other planets and these other strange worlds. And at that point, travel between the planets will probably be instantaneous. It'll be like you get in your rocket, you click your other planet on like a 2D map and you go there. But the ultimate goal for the game is to have it so you can have your own rockets and then blast off a bit like Outer Wilds and fly directly to the next planet, which I think is the ultimate way. But it's not something that I see as critical for having fun in the game, so I don't want to tie myself down with all these flight systems until it's appropriate. Oh, this is a big one. Main character. So there's a lot of conversation in here. Try to get to the top. So many good suggestions in here. Oh, here's one of the favorites from the community. This guy's really cool. Let's get to the top. Oh my gosh, there's just so many. I can't even find the first post. Nope. Still going. Still going for days. Legend says one day I'll get there. Hey! So, Robop started the conversation. I suppose there's a few things. So what I'm going to do, if I go to here, I can change this little image here. So that is the character that Sean created, our artist. And that is what the plan is for the character at the minute. Now, there's lots of other good plans in here, and I'm not saying that this is the final version. But this is likely what the character is going to be like for now. Now, the design I wanted for the character is I wanted it just not to just be the hex version of Minecraft. I didn't just want Steve, but he's now a hexagon. I wanted something a bit more, and I wanted to keep the idea of the hexagon with the character. So make him quite angular. It's obviously going to be low poly to fit in with the world, but I think this character does a good job at that. And now he can be reskinned, and he'll be able to be reskinned by players. And we'll probably give some default skins that you can choose, but you can paint him how you like. But it is slightly harder to skin than Steve because the model's a bit more complex. So there's perhaps a bit of work we need to do there too. But yeah, if this is something that really interested you, this is a good one to join the Discord and look at this massive thread. It's absolutely huge. So main character, that's obviously planned. This is by G Willow. Explorable map. An item that displays the world map in either surface or as a GUI would be a pretty cool feature. That's already in. Yeah, and then in survival, it'll be likely you won't get it for free. You'll have to do stuff. Multiplayer and world sizes. That is, I'll put that one in future plans because it will be, the game is planned to be playable and fun in single player first, and then I'll add multiplayer. The reason for that being is if we're going to release like the first early access version with multiplayer, it'll delay us probably 1 to 2 years, and I'd rather everyone was playing it and giving feedback first. Rogue planets, we've kind of had this one before. Disaster, that's the idea of a planet that isn't tied to a star. That is in future plans. These type of weird and wacky worlds will all happen. Next one's another quick one. This one is by Legathium, and this was for languages. Yes, that's coming. I plan to include as many languages as possible. Next one. Repost. Binary star system. That is also in future plans. The default world will be single star. It's going to be, yeah, but if we get to that kind of interstellar travel portion of the game, then yes, that kind of stuff will happen. Oh, here's our first really technical one. Raycasting using the DDA algorithm via compute shader and store the voxels in a grid hierarchy. I'm not going to go too deep into this, but this can't happen for some technical reasons. So I'm going to put this one in unlikely. Because of the way the data is stored and because the hexagons are distorted, it makes this impractical. We need to be using very regular shapes if we're doing that, and our hexagons are not regular. Next one, large scale. This is by SETID. Large scale features being hexagonal. That one is in the unlikely feature. This was a bit controversial. Some people liked it, some people didn't like it. I don't think so. I kind of want to keep everything that's in the world a bit more, yeah, I'd say organic. It's still going to be really blocky, obviously. But no, that's not my plan at the minute. This one is by Optimus One. We've got the bees are back. Major story arc. You're the queen bee flying to a new land in search of your new family. And that is going in the unlikely. But hey, we'll add it to modders because somebody could do that. Slabs and walls. This is by disaster area. And as you've seen in our previous devlogs, they've already been added. So that we'll put them in planned. I don't really have an added one. Oh, I've just noticed. Are we shoving stuff off the bottom? Oh, we are. We've gone on to 2 lines. And I've kicked off stuff off the bottom. Let me just try edit that. Let's see if we can edit this on the fly. Hold on. On the fly works. We've just got him back on. I didn't consider this. I probably should have. Okay. That should be on screen again. Where was I? Distracted. We were on Slabs and Walls, and they are in. Yes. So next one. Ways of traveling. I know it's the usual. I think always via rocket, galactic cholesterol, but maybe there's some other ways you could get launched off planet. If you sound to be happening on top of a volcano, or yeah. So not the way that also QA Q. I can't say this name. We'll call it Qual Surat. We'll go with that. I do have some future plans, not exactly how they're describing, but probably some kind of. Think more Outer Wilds again with their teleporters between planets, that kind of thing. That would be really cool. Okay, next. Space stations. This is by the same person. I haven't made a thing for it. Okay, I'll just talk about this one. I can't put this on the list. I don't seem to have it in front of me. Yes, but the answer is yes. Space stations will probably be a thing, and that is future plans. Light fantasy theming by Robot. Oh no, by Wilt, is it? Wilt, yes. That is the plan currently. He says, I love science fiction. I read a lot of sci-fi novels, play the games, and whatever else. However, I feel like the market for sci-fi sandbox games is already pretty saturated. KSP, Space Engine Issues, and it's closed. Dyson Sphere Project, Planetcraft, Subnautica, to name a few. Even Minecraft has Tech-It, Greg Tech, and a few other decades in some cases. Why not take the theme for planets in a bit more different direction? I'm not saying completely ditch all the traditional sci-fi tech tropes, but what if the game's tech looks more fanciful approach and in the vein of Treasure Planet? I don't know Treasure Planet. Or Final Fantasy VI. Instead of solar panels and electrical cables, there could be gears and windmills, like Minecraft's creative mod. Yes, this was already my plan. I am wanting to stay away from solar panels, electrical cables, and all those type of refinery kind of ideas. I'm sure models will do that. Models will be definitely doing that for the game. But I don't want the game to be like you're making a grindy base where you have to process ore, at least for the core game. I have much different plans, which is much more revolving around exploration and bringing all your gear with you as much as you can. Now and this ties into what I was saying. I think I said this before the stream, but I have a plan for crafting that's different to these other types of survival games. And the way that works, and there is like kind of a progression to the crafting with gear, and I'm hoping that's where the interest comes from, rather than factory building, which I feel has been done quite a few times. Item progression based on energy production. This is by W. Jill. Will. Looks like I got that right. It's presuming that there'll be some element of harnessing energy in Planetsmith. I think it'd be interesting to have different power types as a prerequisite for creating items, whether it be weapons, gear, vehicles, or components. So this is kind of, I'm gonna put this one in the maybe. I love the idea that you're getting tier locked to places, and there is that going to be that kind of theme, but it's not going to be with energy production because that isn't going to be a key focus of the game. Early game mechanics hunting by CEO of Mac and Cheese. That's a great name. Everyone loves to keep talking about stuff that'll be in the late game, like satellites, moons, rockets, and other stuff, but we need to discuss what we're going to do to get to that point of building rockets. What I'd like to see for the game is a somewhat in-depth hunting system. Although nothing in the complexity of those Minecraft horror mods, with a needlessly complex system requiring you to make a million things all like a stick. Specifically, the hunting part requiring you to use different tactics to be able to get food early on. Different weapons such as traps, spears, javelins, bows, and guns. This goes on. I'll stop reading there. Yes, I like this idea a lot. I was just going to say that. This will tie into the crafting system I'm talking about again, but the very first part of the game should feel like you're versus the elements. When the open alpha launches, there should be a server everyone could join. Oh, I don't think I discussed this one because it's not gonna. That's not gonna work like this. Let's move on. Green Skybox. I hadn't even considered this at all. This is by Robot, and this is so you can take great screenshots, so you can change the background. I love that idea. That is now in the planned. I wasn't even considering it though. By Jimmy, explosive. Oh, I missed one. Take a screenshot that's either I can never say this well. Mercator projection of the world or an isometric projection. Planned. Probably not exactly how you're, but yeah, how you're thinking. But yeah, I have some plans for some cool screenshots. We already have the time lapse thing in, and there's some ideas for screenshots with that too. I've missed some. There should be. Let's see if I can see it. Maybe it's just out of order. Okay. Jimmy says mechanics of explosion, but not just a TNT block. I'm talking gas clouds, open fires, mimicking real life examples of explosion mechanics. Create an atmosphere integer for each biome. Keep that integer at normal levels, except for some biomes that have a dark or radioactive biome with an atmosphere level gas integer in the hundreds. Then, if you were to light a torch, it would instantly set flame. Set a flame. Okay. Probably not how you're. I'm gonna put this one in maybe. There's obviously going to be explosive mechanics, but not like this, I don't think. That sounds a bit complex for what I'm trying to do with the game. Then we have CEO of Mac and Cheese again. Bovid should be added in the future. I mean, that's happening. There will be cows and different types of animals, for sure. Zelda dungeons generated on planet. Yes, this is the plan. This is. I am planning some sort of. Yeah. Not like the modern Zelda dungeons. I'm thinking more classic Zelda games. Like Ocarina of Time kind of dungeon style. We'll get to see, because of course the dungeons will have to be procedurally generated, and it won't be quite the same as, find the key, open the door. I'm not going to do that kind of stuff. But I do have plans to have this whole big part of the game being about battling your way through dungeons. Low res texture option by Ruvance. That is planned. Yeah, at the minute you can only have 512 by 512 textures for each things, which means that the texture file for the game is, I think it's like 3 gigabytes, which is not great for people which have video cards with less than 3 gigabytes of VRAM. But yeah, of course, I'm going to make it so there is at our early access release, there will be a low res texture option, of course. Spaceship Mechanics by Virgu. Outer Wilds was onto something. I think it would be best way to go for flying a ship across the... Yes, this is the plan. I already talked about this, so I'll just say yes. Plants, Plants, Plants by Coffee. I want plants more exotic than Minecraft is willing to go, like tomatoes or strawberries. Yes. And I could say modders. Actually, no, I have some plans that I kind of want. I'll put this in future because it's probably not going to be there at the start. But I have some plans for farming. I want to make it farming a bit more rewarding than in Minecraft. I always feel that when you're farming in Minecraft, it's not rewarding at all because it just kind of gives you some food. What you end up doing is just planting some wheat and don't really care about any of the other foods. Like who's there making cookies and stuff like that? No one. This one is by different animals based on gravity. Right. I love this idea. Not sure how much animals are planned for the game, but I think it would be interesting if planets with low gravity would have a lot of small flying jumping animals compared to planets with high gravity, which could have larger land-based slow animals. I think that's the wrong way around. But I love the idea. I think planets with high gravity would have smaller animals. Because like the limit on Earth to how big an animal can be without it being in the ocean is an elephant, basically. And any bigger, and the bones would have to be so big that the animal becomes impractical. Now, there's a big advantage to being a bigger animal in terms of energy because you lose heat less quickly. You have less surface area compared to volume. So natural selection should want giant animals, but the higher the gravity is, the bigger the bones have to be, and the kind of like frailer that they become. So it kind of like the gravity limits the size. So I'm thinking if you had small planets, maybe we have some bigger animals, which could be quite interesting. And then if we have some like big planets with higher gravity, that'll be much more like smaller, like ground, close to the ground animals that wouldn't jump and stuff like that. But yeah, I love that idea. In fact, I like that idea so much. I think I'm gonna give out an award for every time I do one of these, for like the best idea. So this was by Kalisven, and I'll give you a little title on Discord after to say that was the excellent idea. We'll do that. That's kind of fun, and it's something I wasn't thinking about at all. All kinds of slabs. This is by W Jill. That's called Wood Jill. All kinds of slabs. Unlikely. Fence slabs, glass slabs, leaf slabs. Unlikely. Just because we'll run out of IDs and then some stuff. Oh, did we lose the stream? Hold on. Did we lose the stream? Are we back? I think we lost the stream for a second. I'll blame the gremlins. Yeah, so most things won't have a slab, but a lot of things that can have a slab will have a slab. More so than in Minecraft, I'd say, but not everything for sure. Next one. Wall piece filler. Oh, this had a lot of great. So I think this came about before I did the video, but yeah, I think it did. About the smart blocks. Oh, this is another one where there's so many good ideas and suggestions in here. I am going to revisit this again. I'm not completely happy with wall blocks and smart blocks at the minute, but yeah, and different types of filler. So this is by Joel. A different type of block that you could put between other blocks to make a straight wall. You see, this was the original idea. Then we had the smart ones. And I'm not sure which way we're going to go. This is still up in the air. So I'm going to put this in maybe. It'll probably happen. Being able to craft planets. Pretty much just like craft a planet core to build on. This would make a big Death Star. This kind of goes into some other... I'll put it in maybe. It kind of coincides with some other categories, so it's kind of happening. But maybe not exactly what you think. Maybe there'll be a world builder at some time. Not sure. Hexagonal crafting. No. Where's that one gone? This is by Dope Boy. Unlikely. I don't want to just do the hexagonal version of Minecraft crafting. That's not my plan. Horror Aspects by Mysterious Man. That is unlikely. I suppose that could be for modders, we could say. But I'm planning to keep the game like extremely accessible and friendly, and I don't want to be putting in scary stuff. It's going to be, similar to Minecraft, where hey, we can have skeletons with bows, but we're not going to have any sort of horror or gore or that kind of stuff. I'm sure mods can do that, but that's not the plan for the base game. Dynamic Music by Mysterious Man. That is planned and already... I think we covered that one. I think I said it earlier. I think somebody else said it. So I won't put that one in. Block outlines. Outlines on the blocks to see blockers when testing and playing. Yes, we're having that. And that is by Pusanic. I think we already covered that one, though. That's happening. Yes. Oh, I even talk about how it's surprisingly complex, and that's because that's the next video that's coming out as well. And that's going to go all over the complexities and the headaches with that one. By Pinecone 6442. When you add a planet or a moon, make an eclipse possible, like the sky and light changes when the... I love that idea. But that has to go in future plans. That will not be for a while. Next one. Oh, this is the barrel cult. I don't think I did one for this one. This is the part of the barrel cult. But yeah, there's a bit of a barrel fandom happening on Discord. Natural Disasters by Paco. The basic idea is to imagine natural disasters like tornadoes, tsunami, volcanic eruptions, or even meteorite crashes to the game to make it a little more challenging. Add the option to disable them. I think that's very important. But yes, we are going to do that. That is... Oh, I'll put future plans for that one. That's not going to be soon. I do plan to have volcanoes and eruptions and meteor crashes. Now, there's going to be a caveat on this, because obviously that's going to be really annoying. If you spent hours building your perfect little base on your starting world, and then suddenly a massive meteor comes through and destroys everything, you're going to get some very, very angry players. So, I have a few ideas of how to prevent this type of thing. I mean, one option is to have it just so it's an option that people disable. But that kind of then removes it from the game, and I want it to be something that you have to think about but not worry about destroying your base. I think the way around this is to tie these type of things to locations. So maybe it's specific planets which are getting bombarded by asteroids all the time, and because it's got it's in the asteroid belt and it's getting pummeled by asteroids. So when you're building your base, you have to put on special roof or something so it doesn't get destroyed instantly. And then the other thing we can do is some of the things could be just on first generation. So as you load those chunks and you go into them, you'll then see the meteor coming down and smash into the ground. But of course, that'll only happen the first time you load those chunks. And that could be another cool thing we could do. But yeah, I love that idea in total. Sideways logs, sideways hexagons, or that kind of thing. No, that can't happen. It's not possible. That's by scaved. Oh, scavenged, sorry. Scavenged. Where are we up to now? We'll do all these root posts. Add rock pools. This is just a small idea, just to add rock by fried egg enjoyer. I am a fried egg enjoyer myself. Add rock pools to beaches with little crabs, small fish, and eels in the pool and some seagulls. I like that idea. Stuff like that'll happen. I can't say this will definitely happen or exactly as it's described here in so much detail, but maybe. Then we have some reposts. Volcano and earthquakes. That's kind of there's no other stuff going into horror. So if anyone else is talking about horror in here, just take it. We've talked about it already. The horror aspects has to be for modders. Player model. Oh, we've already talked about that one. Large worms in caves. This is by Recloso. Is it Recloiso? So this is from an animation I made 2 years ago. It's an idea for a Minecraft mod, but I'm suggesting it here too because I can. I like this. The basic content are sandworms or cave worms, the sides of the garboids from Tremors. I am nearly sure that we'll do something like this at some point. It makes sense. I think you've got them hanging off the ceiling here, and they'll drop. I love that kind of mechanic. I've loved that since Half-Life 1 with the barnacles. It's such a fun game mechanic because people don't look up. But then if you get worried about stuff about you, you look up all the time. So large worms in caves. I'll put it maybe still. It might not exactly happen how we're saying. The Shrinking Problem by Krispy Kremes. Oh, got to go to the top. So this is a complex one. Because he's saying the shrinking block problem. I'm hoping this qualifies as easy to understand. Probably not, but I think I know what you're talking about. I'm definitely not a mathematician and I'm a novice programmer at best. But what if the only thing that needs to be changed with the shrinking block problem is how the layers going down towards the center are rendered? When trying to create equal parallel 3D subsections compacted at various angles around a center, a hexagonal planet in this case, the trajectories will intersect at some layer, hence the shrinking block dimension to maintain the hexagonal matrix. So I think what they're trying to say here is basically we could warp the camera to unwarp the warping. The problem with doing this is if you warp the camera to unwarp the warping locally, if you look at stuff at a distance, it's then really warped. So you're just kind of like moving where the warping is, and it can do some really weird stuff. Like you can get like giant players like on the horizon and weird stuff. Also, from a performance point, we can't have players digging to the center. It has to be a crust, kind of like how Minecraft is. We're going to have a 512 block crust, so that's plenty of room to build, dig, and it not feel unrealistic. And then when you get to the bottom, it's going to be, like a magma core to the planet that will kill you if you fall in. And that kind of makes, sense. It's kind of like Earth. If you dig too deep, it gets too hot and you can't go any further. I'm not sure what the deepest hole we've dug on Earth or the deepest a person's gone on Earth, but I think it's not actually that deep. It's a couple kilometers. It's definitely, in the single kilometer range, not the hundreds of kilometers range. So I'm going to put that one into unlikely. Now I have missed some because I had them. I've got them listed here, but I haven't found them, so I need to find them. Oh, hold on. Oh, the search function doesn't work how I hoped. Let's see. How did I miss them? See if I can find them. That's searching the whole server. I just want to search suggestions. That's annoying. That's annoying. Okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna say it, and then if Yoshi, you can find it and put a link in the chat, I will click it. So this one is Earth Planet Preset by G Willow. So I think the idea behind this one was that you could choose a way and it looks very similar to Earth and like where the continents are and everything. I'm going to put that in the maybe category. I'm not sure how possible that is, but it would be cool if we could do that. Next one is fan of Minecraft UA. Variable gravity depending on, oh, we found it here. Just click it. Oh, will it load for me? Why? It's loading it for me in my browser, which is just not what I wanted. That's a shame. I can't click them, unfortunately. The next one is variable gravity depending on distance from the surface. Probably not. I'll put it. It's actually not a 0 chance, but I'll put it in a maybe. But it's in the maybe to unlikely. There will be different gravity depending on what planets you're on. The Earth planet that you start on, no matter what size it is, will have what we'll call 1G. And then all the other planets' relative sizes will be scaled to that. So if you go to a larger planet, gravity will be higher, and a smaller planet, gravity will be less. But as you go away from the surface, will I change the gravity? I suppose once we have space travel, it'll kind of have to happen because at some point you're going to leave the gravitational influence. So yeah, we'll put that in a maybe. I'm not quite sure how that works at the minute. Next one by CEO of Mac and Cheese. There should be both fantasy and... Oh, we talked about that. We've already had that conversation. I'll leave that one out. Virgo, ringed planets. Yes, future plans. All these type of cool and exotic planets and things will happen just eventually. The next one is... I can't believe I can't see them here. Did I sort them wrong or something? Or did it load wrong? Because I remember reading all these. Let me just double check. Anyway, the next one is Auroras by Coffee. And yes, I like that idea. I'm going to put it as a maybe because it's a maybe slash future. I like the idea though that we'll have these cool phenomena like auroras. It'd look really nice for, especially for the polar biomes. It kind of, because polar biomes are so empty as well, you know, it kind of brings that special part to them. Oh, I think we had another glitch. We're still here. We're still here. Hopefully we're still here. Next one, Krill. Texture pack support. Yes, that is planned. That will definitely happen. That is a big plan for the game. Next one. I think we talked about these ones. Dope Boy says, air meter, that goes down faster the higher you are. I'm going to put that maybe. We're probably not going to have an air meter. You're probably going to be fine. I do want to do stuff for other planets, though, where you perhaps need some sort of protection. It's going to be slightly more in a fantasy style than sci-fi style, though, so I'm not quite sure how this all works yet. It's not completely planned. We'll see. And then the last one that I've got here is by Brony Stefoni, Space Biomes / Hazards. I think from memory, this one was about having like an asteroid belt or stuff like that in space that you can visit. And yes, that is a future plan. I can go in here. And I think we're done. So that gets us to the end of the list today. I'm going to quickly look at chat and see if anyone's got any burning questions, and then we'll call it a day there. So hopefully you enjoyed that, going through all of these suggestions. I've planned to do it again, answer as many of these as possible. Was the pollution terraforming post mentioned already? Was it? I can't remember. If it's in the list, then yes. Did I? I don't think I talked about it. Did I put it in but not talk about it? Let me have a look at the list. I don't remember talking about it. Is it here? I don't think I talked about that today, did I? I have read it recently. I can answer that one though. I'll for the other time. There's definitely a post in here somewhere about pollution terraforming. That is not going to happen. I think that's too much like eco. So if you want to play that, do that. Play eco. It's not going to be a plan here that you're destroying your planet as you, well, from an ecological point of view, as you actually destroy it. That's not a plan. Okay, let's call it there. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next devlog, which will hopefully be out in the next 2 weeks. We'll see. I've got a few more problems to solve, and then it'll be ready.